there, I'm Bhupendra Chaubey. Join me in Rest of the Story as we break down the entire Union Budget 2024 into 4 critical pillars. Why should it matter to you? What is in it for you and what is in it for me? There are 4 principal pillars that this government has always worked upon. And which are those pillars? 1, the poor category of people. 2, the women of this country. 3, the youth of this country. And 4, the farmers of this country. This budget needs to be looked at through these 4 specific pillars. So let's begin first with the farmers. If you look at all the schemes which have been announced, Garib Kalyan, Desh Ka Kalyan. Narendra Modi's Sarkar has given free ration to 80 crore people. MSP for producers of Annadata periodically being increased appropriately. These are the kind of commitments which have been done. If you look at it in terms of some specific numbers, Nirmala Sitharaman would like you to believe that the pursuit of Sabka Saath over these last 10 years has led to assistance of 25 crore people to get freedom from multidimensional poverty. Direct benefit transfers of 34 lakh crores has taken place from the government using the PM Jan Dhan accounts. And this, the government believes, has led to a saving of 2.7 lakh crore rupees by the government. The PM Swanidhi has provided credit assistance to 78 lakh street vendors, and from that total, 2.3 lakh have received credit for the 3rd time. The PM Jan Man Yojana has reached out to particularly vulnerable tribal groups. It's here where you see how economics meets politics. Who's Draupadi Murmu? She's a tribal president. What is it that the government has been doing over the last 12 months? How was it that the BJP ended up scoring such a resounding victory both in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh with large pockets of tribal population? It's this focus on the tribal community which has led to these kind of electoral dividends which have been achieved by the government. The second pillar, the women folk. Right from the time when Triple Talaq was abolished, Narendra Modi government has been making a very conscious attempt to try and assiduously build the women voter base as its critical support base. Look at the kind of deliveries which have already been done by this government. And that is what is being chronicled by Nirmala Sitharaman while introducing this budget. 30 crore Mudra Yojana loans have been given to women entrepreneurs over the last 10 years. STEM courses, girls and women constitute 43% of enrollment, which is one of the highest in the world. Exemplary track record of governance, development and performance with targeted deliveries of women. The Lakhpati Didi formula, which has now been announced, the government believes will lead it to a greater trust, a greater communication with women folk of the country. Just compare it to where we were in 2014. Between 2004 and 2014, it's not as if that you did not have a woman president then. Pratibha Tai Patil was a woman president, but Pratibha Tai Patil's name and Draupadi Murmu's name was used by the 2 regimes for 2 completely contradictory purposes. And that's again where the foresightedness of Narendra Modi regime comes into play. Every statement that has been made by the finance minister specifically looking at women folk of the country and then spun into a political/electoral narrative by the Prime Minister points you in one direction. Narendra Modi wants the women folk of the country to believe that if there is one leader who could be trusted to change their lives, then that leader is the Prime Minister himself. And that's where the numbers which are being put by the government in terms of all the loans, in terms of welfare schemes, in terms of how even under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, most of the development work, most of the direct cash benefit, the direct cash subsidy is now being given to women folk of the country. Let's come to the 3rd pillar, the poorer sections of our society. Now, over the last 10 years, what Narendra Modi has done is that he has consistently projected himself to be the leader of the poor. What was the initial part of Narendra Modi's tenure? If you look at it from 2014 to 2019, he came up with slogans like hard work versus Harvard. He came up with slogans like Har Ghar Jal, Har Ghar Ek Nal. Now, 10 years down the line, what the Prime Minister and his government is trying to do is to tell the poorer sections that indeed their lives have been transformed because the government has spent a lot of money. Government is describing this as an attempt to develop the entire nation, sabka prayas. In the second term, Prime Minister Modi is saying that he has doubled down on his responsibilities to build a prosperous country, social inclusivity through coverage of all strata of the society. Then you look at the kind of work which is being done, whether it's in terms of toilets for all, which started off from 2014-15, then went on to houses for all, which started off in the second year, and now it's coming up that if you can put up solar panels, if you can end up becoming a power producer yourself, you can avail free electricity. You have enough and more international reports which are now coming out that suggesting that the maximum number of poorer people have been uplifted from abject poverty over the last 10 years. Who gets the credit for that? Narendra Modi. Is there a specific plan that the government has in terms of what it will do if this lot of people was to now become a part of a formal workforce? It is also true that there is a great debate in our country in terms of whether genuine, real employment is being created, whether people are actually getting genuine, real money in their pocket. And which is that section, which is that community, which will end up being impacted the most? It is this poorer community. Ask yourself, look at the states where the BJP has become a literally impregnable fortress of sorts. Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, even to an extent in Haryana. Gujarat, of course, by no stretch of imagination a poorer state, but whether it is states which used to be Bimaru states and states like Gujarat which have consistently held much higher per capita incomes, it is now being seen that it's the BJP with its blend of subsidy targeted oriented politics and a politics which you could describe maybe as politics of polarization, the BJP using a successful blend of these two initiatives to try and create a narrative about itself. And then the most important part, the critical pillar for Modi Sarkar, the Instagram generation, the new perhaps first-time voter. Over the last 12 months, you would have seen that the government has adopted a very well-calculated strategy of better communication and consistent communication, consistent engagement with the young. For the young, what does Nirmala Sitharaman say? Empowering Amrit Peedhi, the Yuva. In Amrit Kal, the Yuva is now being described as the Amrit Peedhi. What is it that this Amrit Peedhi is getting? The National Education Policy 2020, ushering in transformational reforms. Skill India Mission has trained 1.4 crore youth, upskilled and reskilled 54 lakh youth, and established 3,000 new ITIs. Large number of new institutions of higher learnings, such as 7 IITs, 16 triple IITs, 7 IIMs, 15 AIMS, and 390 universities being set up. Prime Minister's Mudra Yojana sanctioning 43 crore loans, aggregating to 22.5 lakh crores for entrepreneurial aspirations of our youth. Besides that, Startup India and Startup Credit Guarantee schemes assisting our youth as well. Essentially trying to suggest that the youth are no more just a community which is looking for Rozgar. The youth is now a community which could end up actually being a provider of Rozgar, a Rozgar Data. But thanks for watching this episode of Rest of the Story. If you've liked this episode, you can follow more of our stories on our platform, the TICE, or you can follow me on my Twitter handle and send me your feedback, your suggestions. Till then, thanks for watching.